Hello everyone and happy Halloween. It's going to be Halloween, kids are going to be trick-or-treating, and everybody's going to be dressed in scary costumes. So today we're going to look at a few spooky Halloween idiomatic expressions that we use in English. So let's get started. The first one is a skeleton in the closet. We all know what a skeleton is. Now, when you have a skeleton in the closet, according to the expression, it's not literally that you have a skeleton in your closet. But what it means is that you have a deep, dark secret that you don't want anybody to know about. It's a secret that you're ashamed of. It's a secret that you want to keep hidden until your dying breath. So that is the meaning of a skeleton in your closet. The second expression, skeleton crew. A skeleton crew. What does that mean? Well, a crew refers to a group of employees or workers working for a company. A skeleton crew refers to having the minimal amount of personnel to run the business. So for example, you might have a company that operates during the weekend, but they limit their productivity, they limit their activities, so they don't need as many employees. Hence, you can say that such a company will simply have a skeleton crew over the weekend. Next, when someone's blood runs cold. Well, what happens when your blood runs cold? What's blood? First of all, blood is the red liquid that flows through our veins throughout the body. When it runs cold, it means that you have a feeling of being completely petrified, horrified, frightened, and scared. And it's a feeling you get when you get so scared that you do feel the effect of that fear in your body. And that's where that expression comes from. Your blood runs cold. So if you're walking home late at night and suddenly you hear footsteps behind you, I bet your blood's gonna run cold. Next one is, it makes my blood boil. So what happens? Your blood boils. When your blood boils, it means that you're getting very, very hot and the temperature is rising till the blood boils. It's not literal, however, it's metaphorical. When your blood boils, you are very, very angry. You are furious. Scared stiff is our next expression. Scared stiff. Stiff is something that doesn't move. It is still. Scared stiff. It means that you're so scared, so frightened that you cannot move. If you're hiking in the mountains, for example, and you come face to face with a grizzly bear, how are you going to feel? You are going to be scared stiff. The next two expressions have the word ghost in them. What is a ghost? It's an apparition of a dead person or perhaps a dead animal. So that means that after that person or the animal has passed away or has died, they come back to visit the living. And so we see them, we see an image that represents that person or animal. And our next two expressions involve ghosts. The first one is simply a ghost town. A ghost town. And a ghost town is a town that is now empty of inhabitants. There's nobody there. Nobody lives there anymore. So it's empty of people. It's lifeless. A lot of mining towns, for example, when a town depends on one particular industry, if that industry goes out of business and moves out of the town, a lot of the inhabitants of the town move away because they need the jobs and the services of a town that is more active. And so this town becomes a ghost town. Second expression with ghost is a ghost of a chance. It means that something is very unlikely to happen. It's only got a 2, 3, 4, 5% chance of happening. So if you have an exam tomorrow and you forgot to study and it's a difficult exam, perhaps you have a ghost of a chance of passing that test. Next two idioms involve the word grave. So to dig one's own grave, and just for the record, the verb dig is when you take a shovel and you use it to make a hole in the ground. If you are cheating on an exam, for example, and later on it's found out that you have cheated, and perhaps you have to rewrite the exam, or you are given a warning, or maybe you're even expelled. Well, what did you do when you cheated on that exam initially? You dug your own grave. Next, we have the graveyard shift. So a shift is the hours or the period of time that a person will work. So often in workplaces, you could have a morning shift or an evening shift depending on the company. The graveyard shift is the late night shift. Perhaps it's the shift, depending on the company, between 10 p.m. and 4, 5 or 6 a.m. And I think possibly the graveyard shift is the least popular shift. It's late at night, and it's the time when most people would much prefer to be at home and in bed. The next two idioms involve the word dead. When you're dead, it means that you are no longer alive. You do not exist anymore. And the first idiom is over my dead body. Well, that's just a way of refusing something very firmly, giving someone a very strong and firm no. So for example, if I don't want to go to a person's house, I absolutely refuse to go to this person's house. I could say something like, I will go to her house over my dead body. The next one is someone that is drop dead gorgeous. So drop dead gorgeous refers to something that is, or someone rather, that is extremely beautiful. So for example, perhaps you have, if you're a guy, you have a new girlfriend and she's absolutely beautiful. And so you can say, my girlfriend is drop dead gorgeous, beautiful enough to be a model. The next idiom includes the word haunt. Haunt is what happens when ghosts come to visit the living. We can say that ghosts haunt. So if a ghost is in a house, in an old house, you can call this a haunted house. So to come back to haunt someone. And what this means is that something from your past revisits you in the present time in a troublesome way. So remember the example about the student who may have cheated on their exam? Well, that incident could come back to haunt them much later with negative consequences. Finally, we have trick or treat. This is the expression that the little kids use on Halloween night as they go from door to door, dressed in scary outfits, and they go from door to door crying out, trick or treat. With this expression, they are asking for candies. And going from house to house, they are asking the people in the neighborhood to drop some candies into their bag. So this is a tradition in many countries. On Halloween night, the kids go around trick or treating. I now have a short little story. It's a paragraph long, and it's a story about Halloween night. It uses the expressions that we have just looked at. And so I'm going to read you the story, and there are going to be parts in that story where I'm going to give you a choice of two spooky idioms. You have to choose the correct one. And when the story is finished, I will then give you the answers on Halloween night. Emma's two choices coming up. Blood boiled with fear, or blood ran cold with fear. When her brother hinted he knew about her skeleton crew, or skeleton in the closet. The secret she thought she buried forever. He laughed at her, saying she didn't have a ghost of a chance or a ghost town of keeping it hidden if she didn't give him all her Halloween candies. Furious, Emma told him he was just digging his own grave, a graveyard shift, by threatening to expose her secret because she would get him into trouble. You'll tell Mom over a drop dead gorgeous, or over my dead body, she cried as they left the house to go trick or treating, to come back to haunt each other. Now let's hear the answers. On Halloween night, Emma's blood ran cold when her brother hinted he knew about her skeleton in the closet, the secret she thought she buried forever. He laughed at her, saying she didn't have a ghost of a chance of keeping it hidden if she didn't give him all of her Halloween candies. Furious, Emma told him he was just digging his own grave by threatening to expose her secret because she would get him into trouble. You'll tell Mom over my dead body, she cried as they left the house to go trick or treating. We're now at the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a very enjoyable Halloween. Hope to see you again. Bye, everyone.